had a moment recently where I realized I'm like an emotional adrenaline junkie, and I think it's from being a soccer player. You have the wins and the highs are so high, and then the losses and the lows are so low that you're used to this window, this range of emotions.
I'm Heather O'Reilly, and this is Beyond the Game, presented by RBC Wealth Management. Guys, was retirement a scary word for you when you were playing? Did it freak you out?
Yeah. I had to go see a mental health professional. I mean, that for me,
Same.
it did, yeah. I'd known soccer for so long.
Yeah.
So, your whole life you played soccer, 4 years old, 5 years old, it was always a big part. Mm-hmm. You were always the soccer player. Or, are you the soccer player?
Right.
That kind of thing. So I think that retirement was extremely scary. And, even though I still had, I had an amazing husband, I have an amazing family, I had amazing, dogs, and I had a job and everything, it was still scary. And, there were, definitely points of depression in there.
Well, I'm glad that you're in a better place about it.
Yeah, better place.
And how amazing that you can help the next generation, maybe give some ideas of how, can kind of work through that or prepare for it maybe a little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think beside, preparing us from a financial point of view, it's the mental side too, right? Of an identity change. And transitions are difficult, I think, for a lot of people. What about you guys?
This is gonna sound wild. I felt like retiring was not difficult for me because I had torn my ACL the year before. And looking back, I felt like tearing my ACL was the best thing that ever happened to me because I had wrapped my identity so tightly around being that athlete and that professional soccer player that I didn't know who I was without a ball at my feet. And then when I tore my ACL, that was all taken away. And I was really able to explore, go to my first ever Pride parade, be a part of a documentary. And so I almost got to a point where I felt like I had more to contribute off the field than I did on. And I think there's a lot of chaos that comes with women's soccer of our generation. And so I didn't have the patience for that chaos anymore. Like flying Southwest, middle seat, four hours in advance. And I just felt like, okay, I think it's time. And I felt ready.
Yeah.
So I felt like a very healthy retirement, but I feel like I'm unique in that sense.
Yeah.
And I wasn't at the top of my game. So it felt safer.
Yeah, I think it's really spot on what you said about an injury almost forcing it.
Yeah.
I would look at some players and almost, I know this sounds horrible, but be envious of like such an end, right? Because I just sort of like aged out.
Yeah.
Like it just became kind of like the end, and I had to make the decision myself, and that was difficult in its own way, right?
Yeah.
And I think I was nervous about the next frontier, which for me, I conceptually wanted a family, but it's a big difference between like being a professional athlete to now being a mother and transitioning into that. What a freak out. Yeah.
Well, and you unretired a couple times.
Unretired.
So,
And I think that we can all laugh about coming out of retirement and still enjoying the game. But I think I always say I'm not a professional soccer player anymore, but I'm a soccer player.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think I really turned a corner of that thinking that I don't ever have to not be a soccer player anymore. There's other things that have added to my identity. I don't get paid for it anymore. But that doesn't mean that it's unless you win,
There you go.
then you get paid for it. But it will always be part of me. And I think that once I kind of conceptualized that, I was in a much better and healthier place. What about you? Did you have a hard time with retirement? You also came out of retirement a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still coming out of retirement.
Yeah. If you still enjoy the game,
Right. I don't feel like
You
I'm
play
fully
pickup?
retired. I play 4 times a week, which is I feel so lucky to be able to do that. And a lot of people, their bodies just can't. It is harder on turf. But I had a similar situation to Joe where I knew I wanted to go to law school, and my LSAT was going to expire. I was going to have to take it again. And that coincided with an ankle injury. I had ankle surgery, and I was like, I'm going to apply. I got in, and then that was that. So I didn't have to take any time to really think about what I was doing. I just moved on to the next thing and went home to Hawaii and surfed a lot, and then got back to the continent and was like, all right, I guess I'll play more soccer.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think are things about the game that you miss? And what are some things that you don't miss about being a pro
Deep
athlete?
test, I don't miss.
Yeah.
See, I missed that. That's funny.
You were good
at it.
Yeah.
Oh my
Come
gosh,
on.
that's so
I was
annoying.
terrible.
Okay, I don't really
That's
miss the deep
annoying.
pass. That's a little bit of
Yeah.
that's a sick
That's
joke.
no, you're lying.
Yeah.
You
No,
miss
you
it.
love that part. Come on.
You thrived.
It's
in that.
okay.
You
It's
did.
It's okay.
I liked the feeling of pushing beyond
Yeah.
in a physical way. But like I liked that. You liked like heading and tackling.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I do not
Yeah.
I don't really get involved in that.
I
that
miss
much.
this. I miss the locker room. I miss the camaraderie. I miss being a part of a team. I
Yeah.
think there's just something special and so unique about
Totally.
being a women's soccer player.
Yeah. That is the hardest part, I think, for
Yeah.
me. And like, of course, I'm involved in the game in different ways, but it's still not
Still-
quite
yeah.
this
Mhm. Yeah,
dressing room, locker room scene that it used to be. But we do our best to create it in different things that we're part of. So better than nothing, I guess.
Yeah, it is. It's hard making friends as an adult without a team. I never thought, I'm pretty social. Surely it'll happen, you know? And then you move to a new city and you're like, I'm 2 years in and I have like 2 good friends. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the problem.
No, but you're right. I think that soccer did surround us organically with people that were like-minded.
Yeah.
You had similar, ambitions, similar passions, things like that.
And
But
the trauma bonding.
trauma bonding is
Yes.
real.
Yeah.
So real.
Of doing beep
Of
tests,
doing
Yeah.
yes,
of
yeah.
winning and losing and like all the things in between. And all of us, I think a lot of us like grew up sort of together, right? So you're weaving your real life with your soccer life, and that brings people together, I think, in a deep way.
I had a moment recently where I realized I'm like an emotional adrenaline junkie, and I think it's from being a soccer player. You have the wins and the highs are so high, and then the losses and the lows are so low that you're used to this window, this range of emotions. And now life is more like steady.
Yeah.
So I'm like seeking those, like
Yeah.
like this week, you're seeking those moments where you feel the butterflies and like you get nervous and you get competitive. And I think that's something that I really miss, is just like the emotion of doing something that you love every day.
How do you all think about legacy? What is the thing or the impact that you hope that you were able to leave because of the game of soccer?
I'll go first because my answer is simple. Leave the place better than you found it.
Love that. And you certainly did in the end
I
of
like to
yourself.
think so. Yeah.
I think for me, the legacy that I hope that I left is that it's like cool to work hard. Like, we have a generation of like people that like nobody really wants to work that hard.
Yeah.
And if they do, they're kind of like downplaying it. I'm just like, no, I want to work hard and I'm here for it. And like, you could see that in my game face when I was running. And I think that I was like not embarrassed about my desire to like, to grind and to like want to win. And I hope that that has helped people. If it helped one person, one little girl watching to like really go for it and be bold and ambitious, I think that's a success.
Hey, your facial expressions were iconic.
Oh, yeah.
Iconic.
The angry chicken. The angry chicken, right?
You
It
count
was
me as
something.
that one girl.
Yeah,
Because we didn't know
absolutely.
each other, and I was watching you, and I was like, that woman is working hard.
A lot of grunting,
Covering a lot of
a
ground.
lot of running,
Yeah.
Sweaty pits. We love it.
Lot
We
of-
love that about you.
a lot of facial expressions.
That's right.
And Joe, you talked a little bit about your legacy earlier, but will you, again, kind of give us a little bit about what you hope that people took from you?
I think you don't have to be the greatest to be great. And I think we're in a society now that's obsessed with being the GOAT, the greatest of all time, and being the best. And sport has become somewhat exclusive. And I would like to believe that I left the sport more inclusive, more welcoming, more loving, more compassionate, and that every single player on the team, spot 1 or spot 20, you have an impact. And you don't have to be the superstar to make that impact on an outcome of the game. And I hope this week, I know I'm not player number 1, but I know as player number 20 or 19, I still am important to the social fabric of the team, and I still can make an impact. So I think that's how I want to leave
Heck
the
yeah.
legacy.
20 or 19, come on.
I tried to retire. I was like, hey, I think I'm going to coach this year. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, am I sure? I don't know. I guess
One
We don't have
more
any.
year.
We don't have
One
any
more
left.
year.
I'm
One
like,
more
I'm like,
year.
coaching sounds good.
One more year.
For me, the legacy is just it's a hard question to answer. I totally agree with yours. Leave it better than it was, and I think that that's tremendous. I just think it's interesting to look back, and I think that those are the hard parts that I've been struggling with, to deal with, certain things. But I think that I just want to leave a place where it's truly the love of the game, and you just can play for fun, where you can just play to enjoy, where there's so much that goes into it. There's so much that goes into every single day, the work, the hard work. You know, the coach may not like you that day. You know, you may not be playing well that day. Your touch may be off, everything, but where can you find the true joy in the game? You know, and I lost some of that towards the end of my career, and I've gotten it back, you know, and I'm like, that's what I would love to leave, is just to find the joy, because it's soccer, it's a game, you know, like we have benefited by it so much, you know, and it's like, wow, I got to do that. Isn't that the coolest thing? And like that, like play for the love, you know, because you don't get it very long. Give the love to everyone else, you know, even when someone's down because they're not playing well, or they're down because they're like, oh, the coach doesn't like me, you know, this and that. You have all that stuff. Just play for the love of the game, and that joy can go to the rest of your life and to just, you know, make you a better person.
Well, I love that you came back around.
I came back around. I lost it a little bit, but I came back around.
That's okay. We all go through different
you
seasons
that,
of life. So. Well, thank you guys all for being part of this. It was so nice to hear from you and your perspectives, and I know we touched on some difficult topics, so thank you for your honesty, and I know that all the listeners will benefit from hearing your story, so thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. I feel inspired.
Me too.
Me too. Go team.